Very good afternoon to everyone who have joined this webinar of the alumni series, the second series of the alumni. In fact, we have been conducting from EGS Pillai Engineering College multiple webinars. In fact, one of the vibrant and active department across the college is mechanical department, who has been conducting almost four webinars as of now, and another four has been planned in the coming days. These type of events have never happened in any campus, but in our EGS Pillai Engineering College, we take lots of initiative in doing these activities. Today, we have with us a personality who is not just a industry-oriented person, but also he is our alumni. An alumni who graduated, who studied from EGS Pillai Engineering College. Now he is presently in Singapore. I would like to welcome each and every one of the participants who have also joined us today. Today is a special day because today is Sunday. In spite of Sunday, we have people coming and attending the webinar, so we understand how much serious it is, and we hope to have a wonderful session ahead. With these words, may I hand over the floor to our principal, Dr. Ramabalan sir, to formally welcome the gathering. Sir, it's yours.
Namaskaram. Good morning to all. I welcome our proud alumni, Mr. Vimal Kumar sir, our Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Chandrasekhar sir, our Dean, Dr. Krishna Mohan sir, and all participants. Actually, it's our happy and blessings to host this excellent webinar from our proud alumni. This webinar is about a rectangular tunnel boring machine. It is conducted by our mechanical engineering department. In this webinar, excellent knowledge and experience will be shared by our proud alumni, Mr. Vimal Kumar. Actually, he belongs to 2002 passed out batch. Now he is in an international expert. He already worked in China. Now he is working in Singapore. He is working as a quality assurance and quality control manager, China Railway Tunnel Group Limited, Singapore. So this webinar will be very useful to all the participants. I request all the participants to use this golden opportunity for enriching your knowledge. Also, I request you to post your comments and questions in the chat box. Now, I request our proud alumni, Mr. Vimal Kumar, to share his knowledge and experience with the audience. Mr. Vimal Kumar, sir, please go ahead and all the best.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving me an opportunity, sir. And thanks, Chandrasekharan sir. Thanks, Rambalan sir. And Krishna Mohan sir for giving me this opportunity. I am proud to come back again because EGS Pillai College is a place where we have gained a lot of knowledge, and then when we go out, we have implemented, and then we update ourselves. And my name is Vimal Kumar. I am basically from Nagapattinam. So after completing bachelor degree, I worked in Gujarat. After that, I went to Middle East countries. I work as a QA/QC engineer there. Then after that, come back to Singapore. Then I went to China. And then after completing a project in China, I came back to Singapore. I'm currently working as a QA/QC manager with China Railway Tunnel Group Limited, which is a China government company, which is a China Railway. And thanks all the attendees who takes interested and come for this presentation. And this presentation will be, I hope this presentation will be useful for everyone, and because this cover both mechanical as well as civil engineers in common. Sir, can I go for the presentation, sir?
You can go ahead, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So we go for the presentation. Today we will be discussing about a webinar series of a rectangular tunnel boring machine. And actually this particular machine is a more productive machine, because currently what we are using traditionally for the construction of underpass and underground vehicle path. So we are using a traditional method of construction, but this rectangular tunnel boring machine is a more productive way which can save time and also a cost. So let's go to the subject. So today we will be discussing about first the introduction, then what are the RTBM components, then assembly and launching of RTBM, then design, GA, cast-in item, and fabrication of segment, and the final docking. So we go for the introduction. So what is rectangular tunnel boring machine? So actually rectangular tunnel boring machine is a mechanized shield tunneling method which is used to construct underground pedestrian crossing. So we call it as a subway and also a vehicular crossing which is having a maximum length of 300 meters. Because traditionally we are using cut and cover method, and we will have a short summary about cut and cover method in the coming slide before we go to rectangular tunnel boring machine to compare why this rectangular tunnel boring machine helps everyone in the productivity, and it is a more effective method compared to the cut and cover method of constructing the crossing. So we will just see a scenario. So in this picture, we can see two highways. Here is a highway and here is another highway. And also here we can see there is another highway cutting through this, and there is a water channel is also there. So a government is constructing, just an example, a government is constructing a underground metro train. So we can see this is a one track and this is another track. So after people coming out from the train station, so they will go to this level called concourse level. So once they enter into the concourse level, if they want to cross to this side of the road, so they need to come out and then they need to cross this traffic light and then they need to go over this bridge and then cross over this traffic light across the road. So this will create a lot of congestion to the traffic because it need to keep on go red and green, so that there will be a lot of traffic jam if this is really a busy, very busy highway. So for that, usually what we will do is we will build a subway. We can see this is a subway. So just now we discussed this one is a railway track one way, this is another way, and this is a subway. This subway is below the channel, water canal. So below this. So people need to cross over here, then they need to come out, and then they need to go to this side of the road. So this is just a typical example. Now we go to the real side situation. Just an example, just now we see in the previous slide, this is a one-way train track and this is another way train track. When the people come out from this station, they need to go over here in underground and then they need to cross over here. So just an example, if we are using a cut and cover method, we need to block this road and we need to divert the traffic. And similarly, once we construct this halfway, then we need to divert this river. And similarly, once the diversion is finished, then we need to divert this traffic. So we have a 1, 2, 3 diversion. And when we are doing a cut and cover method, we will be facing a lot of utilities. Means there will be an electrical cable, there will be other utility cable, telephone cable, or there will be a sewage line or water pipeline, or gas pipeline. So there will be a lot of service line which we need to consider, and we need to detect which are the service line, and we need to get an approval from the respective authority before we start this work. As a main contractor who is doing this job, this is really a tremendous work we need to do, getting clearance from all the authorities. So just we go and see a simple summary about how the cut and cover system work. So this is how the cut and cover system work, the traditional way of construction. So if this is the crossing, so we will first build a concrete wall here. We call it as a retaining wall, and we need to construct another retaining wall. Once the 2 retaining wall is completed, either 3 method we can use. We can use a diaphragm wall method or a bore pile method, or we can put a sheet pile, depend on the depth of this particular subway where it has been built. So once the retaining wall gain the structure, gain the required strength, then we will start digging using the excavator. Then after that we will put a steel stud. Then once the steel stud is in place, then we will continue go to the next level. Then we will install the next stud and the subsequent stat. So we can see from this particular third 03. So we have already installed 3 stat. Then after that, we will start building the base slab, then the concourse slab or the roof slab. So we can see item number 4, construction of underground structure. So over here, we can see a base slab. And then after that, once the base slab gain the strength, we will continue constructing the concourse slab or the roof slab. So once these 3 slabs are completed, then we will lay a road or we will backfill with the river, and then we will backfill and restate back to the authorities, respective authority. And then before that, we need to redivert all the underground utility lines. So this will really take a lot of time, starting from retaining wall construction. Before retaining wall construction, we need to clear all the underground structure, underground utilities. Then we need to excavate. Then the concrete need to gain the strength 28 days. Then the second level need 28 days. Third level need 28 days. Then backfilling and reinstatement. So all this work require a lot of time, and also traffic diversion and inconvenience to the people. So to avoid all this thing, we will be using, this is a method. So diaphragm wall construction, we will use the D-wall machines, and then after that we will pour the concrete. Then this is a starting. So this is actually a traditional way of constructing a subway or underpass. Now we will come back to what are the utilities. So these are the utilities, and when we need to divert before we start building our retaining wall structure. Then the natural calamity impact. So when during the construction time, there will be a flooding. In case of Chennai, there will be a flooding, and then or other places. Then working in a hot sun and hit by the vehicle, and there will be a vehicle accident. There will be a lot of insurance occur if there is anything happen, and ground settlement, an impact on groundwater level, and installation of recharge well. So now we go to the tunnel boring machine. So here, just now we see about a cut and cover method. So how tunnel boring machine will help in this? So just we see the similar scenario. So we have a road here, and beside this is a road. Beside there is a viaduct. Then after that there is a river. There is a viaduct, and there is a road. So to construct a subway, just an example, this particular area, the government must come out with the subway. They have no choice. They cannot go over elevated pedestrian walkway also, because there is a bridge. So to make it more economic, so if the government come out with the plan building the subway, they can, if they use the rectangular tunnel boring machine. So we need to have a launching shaft. We can see here a launching shaft. From here, we launch the rectangular tunnel boring machine, and then it will go through road and also viaduct and also river, and then it will come out from the other side. So we no need to divert the utility, we no need to divert the traffic, no need to divert the river, or no obstruction to the viaduct. So this is how this is why we can propose rectangular tunnel boring machine in place of cut and cover method. So we we will see introduction and benefits of RTBM. Why we use rectangular tunnel boring machine, and what is the benefit? Compared to the conventional cut and cover method used in the construction project, the trenchless method with the RTBM brings about estimated 40% increased productivity, or reduction in manpower, seamless and better continuity of work, and higher quality and workmanship. We just now we have seen animation and then also a real site condition. So this we have done in Singapore. This particular area, the government plan to we have already finished. They plan to construct a subway, but they need to divert. They need to overcome all these difficulties: road, viaduct, overbridge, or they have a river. So the government of Singapore have contacted government of China, and then they come out with a proposal of using this RTBM. And by doing it, usually the cut and cover for this particular area takes around estimated 2 to 3 years, but we have completed the same subway in the same location in 1 year time, because 3 months is a construction using RTBM, but the preparation takes around 6 months. So 6 months plus 3 months is RTBM operation, then handover, reinstatement, back to working condition. So it all takes around 1 year. So when we compare to 2 years, so compared to 2 to 3 year, we have completed in 1 year. So what are the RTBM components? Just now we see this is RTBM. So we go in detail each component of RTBM. So this particular part is a main component of RTBM, and behind is another part, and this is IJS, and this is a another system, backup system. Later we will discuss. So RTBM components. So RTBM features a rectangular shield box jacking technique which uses the principle of earth pressure balance machine during excavation. This uses the same method as circular tunnel boring machine, which normally people uses for construction of underground metro train system. The thrust cylinder in the box jacks remain in the shaft and push forward the entire box segment. So this particular section, we call it as a thrust cylinder or thrust system. The whole system is thrust system. So this here, from here, this will push the segment. These are the segment. This will push the segment along with the TBM. When the TBM is doing the mining, and parallelly we will start pushing using the thrust cylinder, and the TBM will keep moving forward. The new segments are installed within the shaft at the machine advance. As the TBM advances and cut through the soil, it turns the excavated material into a solid paste that is used as a pileable plastic support medium to balance the pressure condition at tunnel phase. So when we push using this thrust cylinder, and we place the segment here, later we will see how we place the segment, and the TBM will move forward, and then we will excavate the soil out, and then we will take the soil out from the launching shaft. So these are the main component of RTBM. So this is the main body and thrust ring and the main thrust system, back support, and here is a man-lock double screw conveyor. RTBM is a very simple tunnel boring machine, not so complex as a circular tunnel boring machine. The total length of a circular tunnel boring machine will be around 130 to 150 backup support gantry is required. But over here, it not even 30 to 40 meter. So the total structure, the total machine is. So RTBM main body, double screw conveyor over here, then here man lock, main thrust cylinder, thrust ring, back support, and intermediate jacking system. So we will discuss one by one in the coming slides. So the main machine, this is a main machine or the main body. So what are the components in the main machine? The first one is a shield. The shield is a one which hold the whole main machine. And cutter head, these are the cutter heads. The blue and red are the cutter head, which grind through the earth and take out the soil. Main drive. Main drives are the motors which connect to the cutter head. Screw conveyor. After the cutter head cut through the soil, all the soil in front will be taken out by the screw conveyor. Then there is a deviation correction also. In case the TBM go out of alignment, then the deviation correction cylinder will bring back the RTBM to the correct alignment. Backup gantry. So this is a backup gantry. It has a bell conveyor. After soil excavate out from through the screw conveyor, the bell conveyor will bring it back to the muck skip. We call it as this is a muck skip. It operate on the rail, and then it will bring out the soil from inside the tunnel and all the way out, and then it will be carried up through the gantry crane. So intermediate thrust station, later we will discuss about this. This is similar like our initial thrust system, but it is a miniature in nature. The reason why we will install this intermediate thrust station is, in case if the length of the tunnel is more than 150 meter, the initial thrust system may not be able to give enough pressure to this segment and the TBM to move forward. So we need to install the intermediate thrust station, which can assist the initial thrust system in pushing in the segment along with the main TBM, main machine. So initial thrust system, it has thrust ring, thrust support, RAM support, and backup support. So we just go back and just have a look at the previous picture. So just now we see this is a main body. Then after that, screw conveyor here. Then we have a conveyor belt. Then this is a IJS or intermediate jacking system. This is a thrust system. This thrust system will push the segment along with the TBM. When the TBM move forward, same time the cutter head will cut the soil, and all the soil will be taken out through the screw conveyor to the conveyor belt to the muck skip and then taken out. The TBM will keep advancing. Then we will place a segment one by one. Once the thrust cylinder push out, then we will place the next segment. Then we push, then we put the next segment. So just now we see about the main machine. Now these are the key features of rectangular TBM machine. So the diameter is usually 7 meters. Means if the subway to be built is 7 meter by 5 meter, this machine can build. And with the rectangular tunnel boring machine, we can maximize the space. And in China, the maximum size of the subway they have built using this machine is 9 meter by 6 meter. The length is around 300 meters. Then these are the powers and the cutter drive power, cutter head torque. These are the numbers just for information only. And it has what is the torque and deviation correction, and how many number of screw conveyors, power, muck discharge, what is the capacity of muck discharge, and what is the maximum advanced speed is 40 mm per minute. It can we can drill through. Next is a main machine layout. So main machine, we can see from this picture, this purple color is a cutter head. Then after that, we have a friction reduction system. So friction reduction system is basically a bentonite and water mix, and it will be pumped through this nozzle, and it will be pumped to the gap between the shield and the ground, so that when the TBM advance, there will be a less friction. Then this is a front shield. Actually, shield has been split into 3 sections: front shield, front shield, middle shield, and tail shield. So just now we see main drive. Main drive, usually the motor that driving the cutter head is called main drive. Then cutter head, this is a cutter head which cut through the soil, and this cutter head you can see both are staggered, means 3 of them are in front. The previous picture we can see the 3 blue color is placed in front, and the 3 red colors are placed behind, means to maximize the cutting area. And this is a mixing arm. Behind this is a mixing arm. It won't allow the soil lump to accumulate behind. That's why it keep mixing. And this is a deviation correction cylinder. So in case if this TBM go out of alignment during the mining process, so this deviation correction will realign the TBM back to the original axis. And this is a breakthrough cylinder. When we mine through the whole segment, when we want to come out, we use the cylinder to push the TBM out of the tunnel is through breakthrough cylinder. So advanced grouting, we have electrical cabinet and screw conveyor, and we have a firefighting system, and middle shield and tail shield. So later next slide we will see more in detail. So this is first we have seen from this picture. From this picture we have split into 3 sections. Just now we see main machine. Now we go into backup. Next we will go into IJS. Next we will go into initial thrust cylinder. I just bring it back to give a overview of it. So just now we finish main mission layout. Now we are discussing about backup system. In this backup system, we have a foam pumping station. Later we discuss why we need a foam for this foam system for this RTBM, air compressor. Then Makar is the one which carry the excavated soil from inside the tunnel to the outside. Then we have a transformer because we to operate this screw conveyor we need the high kV, and also to operate other machinery we need low kV, and to operate handheld machines we need a different supply. So that's why we need a transformer inside. Then also a CO2 firefighting system. So this is a backup system. So this backup system will be behind this main mission. Mission will lead, and then backup mission will follow. The last one is rectangular pipe jacking system. So we can see from this particular thing is called thrust cylinder, and then thrust support. This is thrust support and thrust cylinder. So this will be act as this will push the segment along with the RTBM. So now we discuss about cutter head general layout. So there will be a total 6 numbers of cutter head. 3 numbers are arranged in front. You can see 3 numbers, the blue color are arranged in front, and 3 numbers are arranged in back. And this will be connected to the main motors behind. Each cutter head will be driven by 3 powerful motors, and 1 cutter head will be driven by 3 motors, and total 6 cutter head driven by total 18 motors. And the rotational speed of this cutter head is not so much high, so that's why the ground above will not be disturbed so much. So low mixing torque causes minor disturbance to the ground, and this facilitates the control of ground settlement and TBM position. This is a very simple structure and very high reliable in subsequent TBM operation. On over here you can see the actual TBM machine cutter head, similar like the picture one. So let's discuss about the cutter head. The cutter head type is called spoke type, and opening ratio is 58.2% is the opening ratio, and the weight is around 3 ton. And center we have one center cutter, is also tungsten carbide material. All the drag bits, we call it as a drag bit. You can see these are the drag bits that are placed. These are placed in such a way in this 4 arm that the whole area is covered, means none of the area is left grinded. So all the area is total is mined. So this is a center cutter, you can see here, and similar. This is a drag bit. This is a drag bit, and which will be placed on cutter beam. This is a cutter beam. The purple color is a cutter beam. Then after that we have a foam system. Please take note that each cutter head have a foam system. Total 5 numbers. The reason for putting a foam system is to condition the soil, because different soil having a different condition. So when we spray the foam, the soil condition will change. We have a lot of chemicals available and supplied by different suppliers. They will take a soil sample from our site, and then they will do their own investigation, and then they will give us a proportion. And also this foam is created by chemical and also air. So in the previous slide we have seen that we have a air system. So air will be used to create a foam. And mixing arm is 4 arm. Just now we see in this previous slide, this is a mixing arm. This is a mixing arm. So this mixing arm won't allow the soil to get accumulated or soil lump. So this is an overview of a cutter head. Just total 6 cutter heads are there. And then this is a brief description about the cutter head and its drag bit. Now we see how the cutter head opening ensure the flowability of the mud.
Small contact area between the cutter head and cutting face facilitate the prevention of McClawing. So we can see from the previous slide, the cutter head, the drag bit are designed in such a way that it does not have a much contact with the soil, so that there won't be any clogging. So this picture is an actual drag bit taken on site. So over here, it has been designed in such a way that you can see the maximum area of the shield can able to mine. Hard facing of wear resistance purpose. So all the surface of the drag bits are wear provided with the wear resistance coating with a high hardness. An evenly distributed additive injection port. Just now we see this is an injection foam injection port. An active mixing arm facilitates soil conditions. So there is a mixing arm behind, so it will facilitate. So from this picture, we can see these are the cutter head coverage area, and also this is a foam nozzle, and foam will be supplied to condition the soil. And these are the wear resistant protection. So next one is a treatment of unexcavated area. Just now we see in this picture, we discussed that maximum area of the TBM can able to mine, but you can see this particular portion cannot be able to mine because this is outer periphery of the TBM. So this particular outer area of outer periphery of the TBM is also provided with the drag bit. Just now we see this is a drag bit, is made up of a tungsten carbide material. So when the TBM advance, automatically the soil will be mined. And also we have a drilling port where we can use high pressure water in case if there is any portion of the soil is not been mined, and there is a high pressure water port and also drag bit in front of a shield curve. So the whole periphery of the RTBM is provided with drag bits. So drag bits are equipped in the front shield curve. High pressure water port and air drill connection ports are reserved in shield for accelerated treatments of unexcavated area. So this is a main drive. Just now we see this is behind, means these three motors are the one which drive the cutter head in front. So these cutter heads are run by three motors. We can see three motor, 1, 2, 3. So from this, the number of frequency is 18 because total we have a 6 cutter head. So each cutter head comes with 3 motor, means total 18 motors. So these are some of the key features of what is the torque it can, maximum theoretical torque it can generate, what is the drive power, what is the rotation speed. We can see, just now we see that the rotation speed of this cutter head is 0 to 1.5 RPM, revolution per minute, means very slow. It will rotate very slow, but solid, and it won't disturb the soil above. So now we discuss about the shield structure. The shield is the one which protect the whole RTBM. It consists of front shield, middle shield, tail shield, and articulation seal ring, breakthrough cylinder. So front shield, just now we discussed, middle shield and tail shield. These all consist of the TBM, the main body. Then it has an articulation sealing ring, which will be at the tail shield, and breakthrough cylinder is also at the tail shield. And design feature, both sides and crown of front shield are designed with capping brim and friction reducing agent. Injection port are equipped therein inside the articulation field to facilitate the forming of bentonite jacket. So this is the external surface of the RTBM. So this is a cutter head and this is the outer surface. So outer surface will be pumped up. The outer surface of this TBM will be pumped with the friction reducing agent injection port. So usually bentonite we will be pumping so that there is no friction between the moving TBM and the surrounding ground. And the shield body connection. So each shield body, front and middle shield and tail shield, each are connected by bolt and nut. So shield structure reserved with the advanced grouting port, operation platform, and 2 numbers of breakthrough cylinder equipped in the upper and lower part of real tail shield. So this is a real tail shield. So it has a two number of breakthrough cylinder keep in upper and lower part of rear tail shield. So this is the rear tail shield. Just now we discussed about the total all the shield, and we are now discussing about the tail shield. And the breakthrough cylinder they have placed at the back of the RTBM, so that when we reach the final destination, we can use the cylinder to push out the RTBM from the drilling location. So, and we have operational platform, and also this is a breakthrough cylinders. So articulation cylinder and parameter. So these articulation cylinders are placed at the tail shield. So I will just show you. Let me discuss. So number of correction is total 16 numbers of articulation cylinders are there. What is meant by articulation cylinder? Articulation cylinders will help the RTBM in case we are mining through a place, and then suddenly the TBM went out of alignment. It never followed our alignment path. Actually, all these RTBM are laser guided. In case if the RTBM due to the soil condition or due to the surrounding environment or self weight of the RTBM, when the RTBM go out of alignment, this articulation cylinder during the mining can able to bring the RTBM back to its own axis. So this you can see from this picture, you can see this is a tail shield and this is a middle shield, and in front is a front shield. So front shield and middle shield are connected together, and the tail shield is not connected. So it is connected by this cylinder. By moving this cylinder, so we can adjust the front shield and middle shield so that we can bring back the TBM to the original axis. So deviation correction angle, what is the maximum deviation we can do? So because we have a 24-hour operation and we have an operator continuously monitoring this movement, he can able to monitor the axis, whether it is following the right axis or it is moving out. So he can immediately doing the correction by using articulation cylinder, left and right 1.5 degree and upper and lower 21 degree. And number of stroke 4 and what is the maximum, these are the parameters. And what is the thrust force it can give is 32,000 kilonewton thrust force. So this is about the articulation system. So articulation seal. So as just now we discussed that main shield and middle shield are connected together, but the tail shield is connected through a cylinder. So due to the movement of this, there is a chance that the water from the surrounding can come inside the TBM. For that we have a M seal and lip seal, and we have a block, we have adjustment bolt. So this will avoid the water leakages from exterior coming into the tunnel. So active articulation, two cores of seal, one course of M seal, this is M seal because the shape is M, and one course of double lip seal, this is a double lip seal, and the height of hemispherical seal can be able to adjusted by way of adjusting bolt. When we tighten this bolt, these two bolts, we can adjust if the M seal, due to the wear and tear, this or the movement of the TBM, there is a chance that this seal may loosen. So that's why when we tighten this bolt, this can be adjusted. So main features of screw conveyor. So just now we discussed that the screw conveyor is the one which bring the soil out from the mining from the cutter head to the outside, and then it will be carried by the muck ski. So this is a screw conveyor. So it can able to rotate both clockwise and anti-clockwise direction, and it has, here we can see this is a pressure sensor along with a monitor window. So these two are monitor window. We have a two pressure sensor, both also installed here, and front part of screw shaft and outer ring of blade equipped with hard facing. So this is a screw conveyor because as we are bringing out the soil of different characteristic, there is a chance that this screw conveyor they have a wear and tear. So this all surface of this screw conveyor are coated with wear resistant material or welded with wear resistant material, and in front of it is provided with a double discharge gate. So what is the purpose of double discharge gate is when we are mining through, we need to keep a face pressure, because in front, if we never keep the face pressure, there is a chance there will be a settlement on top. So we need to understand what is the soil condition in front of the TBM, and we need to maintain the face pressure, and this face pressure will also be maintained by the screw conveyor. When the soil coming out from this screw conveyor, for every meter or every meter there will be a reduction in pressure, and this screw conveyor is placed at 25-degree angle, so that the pressure inside the TBM can able to hold, so that the soil in front of the TBM will not be collapsed, and this is based on the soil condition. So screw conveyor structure consists of casing. So screw conveyor will be positioned here, total 2 screw conveyor. It is electrical operated one. It is placed at 25-degree, and it has a capacity of 79 meter cube per hour of soil it can able to diffuse. So this is a belt conveyor. Once the soil come out from this screw conveyor, the belt conveyor bring the soil out from the TBM to the nearest mud skip. So it consists of a weight scale and volume scanner and also speed measurement module. So all these are all computerized. So injection system for soil conditioning. So we can see from this, just now we see in our cutter head is provided with the foam injection port, minimum of 5 numbers. So equipped with foam conditioning system, reserved with bentonite and polymer injection nozzle. 6 number of cutter head with the soil conditioning nozzle in each spoke. So each spoke is provided with 5 nozzle, and which can spray foam. Each pipeline with independent pump to ensure proper soil conditioning. So we spray this foam in case just when we are mining through a ground particular terrain, and then when we found that the soil is not able to maybe it is too it is not able to grind or mine by the TBM. So we need to use this foam system. The foam system means it is a one type of a chemical which will be mixed with water and also air, and then it will be sprayed into the soil, and then the soil property will be immediately changed in a few minutes, and which can help the cutter head to mine easily. That is why we are using foam system. So this is a foam system layout, and this is arrangement of foam system. We have a foam tank, foam mixing tank, and also foam pump, and then foam distribution unit, and also foam sensor, airflow meter. Air is the one which will be mixed with foam and water. So this foam is made by water and air, and then it is pumped to the cutter head. So this is a foam system where it is going. Foam system, it goes to cutter head, and also foam it goes to screw conveyor also. In case the soil inside the screw conveyor is difficult to take out, so we will use the foam system to condition the soil before we take out. So air compressor system, we have air compressor system also. So this is where the air supply will be. The air supply will be mostly for all the equipments or sensors. Provide air source for foam system, bentonite system, pressure retaining system, pneumatic tool, air compressor, air tank and filter component integrate into air pump station, which will be installed on the segment behind the main machine. So backup system, this air system, foam system will be in the backup system. So bentonite system. So where we will use the bentonite is, so when the TBM advances, there will be a friction between the TBM shield and the ground. So to avoid the friction, so we will be using the bentonite. Ground bentonite equipment, bentonite storing and puffing equipment. These are the equipment: grouting pump, grouting injection hole, grouting pipe, bentonite injection device, and associated pipeline. So bentonite will be used to reduce the friction between the TBM shield and also the ground. So this is a bentonite system. This particular system will be, this is a front shield. Front shield we will be having a bentonite system, and this bentonite system comes with non-return wall, and also a normal wall, and consists of a non-return wall and a manual wall and pneumatic valve also. Provided with a replaceable plastic non-return wall to prevent soil intrusion and pipe clogging. So when we open this, bentonite will be pumped out, and this is just an example. This is a TBM shield, and the bentonite will be pumped out, and the friction between the soil and the TBM will be reduced. So automatic circulation system, this enable high efficient bentonite injection and precision. So this is totally a PLC system. The system, the TBM have a sensors installed, and it is an automatic system based on the pressure. So that bentonite will be automatically injected. To reduce friction between shield and soil, eliminate soil disturbance and reduce friction, reduce thrust force. So power system, we have a high tensile power system. Transformer mounted on the segment transform 380 volt into 220 volt and 24 volt require voltage rating. So our motors require, our cutter head motors require different power, and other equipment, foam system or air system or bentonite motors, bentonite pump. So a bentonite pump require different power supply. So we have separate transformer inside our RTBM at the backup system. So this is a control system. The whole operation can be no one need to go inside the RTBM. They can operate the TBM from the surface. So usually this TBM will be operated from the surface and also operated from on monitor in our office, and we will be providing one more monitor to the client. But client is a visual one, so from our office is also visual one. Only the control cabin people can able to, the TBM operator only can able to operate the machine from the surface. So this is an intermediate jacking system. Use intermediate ring to relay thrust. Many small are evenly installed in the intermediate ring and repeatedly advanced to push the entire pipeline to move forward. So this IJS will be installed intermediately. Just now we see that this RTBM can able to make a subway of 300 meter length. So with this, the pressure created from the thrust cylinder may not be enough to push the TBM. So that's why we will be installing the intermediate jacking system at a regular interval. So this is also push. This will also have a total 260 small diameter cylinder which can able to push the system, push the whole operation. So thrust cylinder. So this is a major item of the TBM. This is another important part. Thrust system composed of main thrust cylinder. These are the thrust cylinders. This is a stud on top. These are the studs. Hydraulic pump station we have, mainly to provide power for rectangular TBM and segment. So in front of this thrust cylinder is a segment. Later we discuss about the segment. In front is our RTBM. So when this cylinder expand, it will push the segment, and the segment will push the RTBM in front. Parallelly, the cutter head will cut through and it will move forward. So the required thrust force is calculated based on the project condition, and for the diameter, for the 7 meter to 5 meter theoretical maximum thrust force, we require around 7200 kilonewton, and the safety factor is 1.46. So other system is foam automatic fire extinguisher system, water curtain system, and CO2 automatic fire system will be installed as a firefighting system. Assembly and launching. So once we are on site, and just now we have seen a different components of RTBM. It all been manufactured and ready from the factories, and we are ready at site. We have a gantry crane. Just an example, we are going. We assume we are in a site condition. So we have a gantry crane here, and also we have a launch shaft. Launch shaft is something like we will dig through until this is a launch shaft. So this is where the subway need to build this particular area, and then we will create a retaining wall structure here, and then we will prepare a base slab, and also we have a truss wall also here. This is a truss wall. So we will lay a rail here, and then we will bring down the lower part of front shield. So this is the lower part of front shield with one cut ahead arrangement. So trailer will deliver the front shield to a site, and it will be lower down and place it on the cradle. We call it as a cradle. Cradle is nothing but a four or row, six row of rails. And once the lower part of front shield is placed, because our TBM is made up of lower shield and upper shield. So first we will place the lower shield, then next we will bring down the two main drives. The main drives are usually motors, we call it as. Lower down two main drive one by one and install on front shield. So on the front shield lower part, we will install the other two motor. The previous one already come out in the previous slide. We can see this one is come out with the lower front shield. So here we will install the two main drive. So next is after that we will lower down the upper front shield. The upper front shield will be placed on top of it. The upper front shield and lower front shield. So this is a cross section view. Here we can see this is a cross section view. So upper and lower front shield are bolted together by using a 8.8 grade normal bolt around M40 bolt. We will bolt together. So lower down front shield and connect to the front shield. So the main body, in the previous slide we saw the main body, which is a shield, cutter head, and also main drive and main drive. These are the part of main drive and screw conveyor and man lock. So these are the main part of the TBM, RTBM, and which we call it as a main component. So the main component in the previous slide we see three sections. One is the front shield, middle shield, and tail shield. Now we are talking about the front shield. We lower down the front shield lower part and front shield upper part. So a part of the front shield is already completed. Then once the front shield is finished, then we lower down the middle shield. So this is a middle shield. Middle shield placed on the cradle, and then we will lower down man lock on supported inside the mid shield. So we will lower down the man lock. What is meant by a man lock means, just an example, we are mining through and suddenly we have a hard soil, and when we are mining, all the drag bits in the previous slide we saw the drag bits are the one which is help in mining, which is made up of tungsten carbide. If it is wear out, even we advance the RTBM, it cannot be able to mine. So it cannot be able to take out the soil. It cannot move forward. So for that, we have a man lock. Man lock is the one which it has a two compartment. People will enter into the first compartment. They will close the main compartment. Then after that, they will increase the pressure. The pressure inside the second compartment is equal to the EPB, the pressure on the other side of the TBM, which is the cutter head pressure. They will maintain through the air pressure, and the people whoever involved in this operation will be tested, and if they are okay, then only they will be allowed to work. And if they work continuously for 8 hours, they cannot work on next day. There are some requirements. So through the manhole, people can enter through during the mining itself, but they will stop the mining when they open the man lock, and they will go in if there is any problem with the cutter head, or the cutter head cannot rotate, or if something big rock stuck. If they want to do investigation or inspection, they will stop the mining, and then people will go into the man lock, and then they will go inside in front of the TBM. So after that, lower down mid shield upper part and connect to the mid shield lower part. So we will lower down the upper part, and we will connect the mid shield to the front shield, and lower down tail shield and lower down tail shield lower and place it on the cradle. So now front shield is finished. We have lowered down the middle shield, we have lowered down the tail shield, and tail shield lower part also lowered. Now we will lower down the two screw conveyor one by one and connect front shield. Why they have split the main body into three components is because of this. Because if we have a single main body, we have a difficulty in installing the motors which drive the cutter head, and also we have a difficulty installing the man lock. Man lock, the thickness of the man lock material is, it can able to take a pressure of around 4 to 8 bar air pressure, and people will be need to maintain sometime pressure until 3 bar when they are working inside air pressure. That then only they can go in front of the cutter head. And lower down tail shield upper and connect to the tail shield lower. So then we will lower down the tail shield upper part and connect tail shield to middle shield we will connect. So once the whole lower down 6 cutter head, once the three middle front shield, middle shield, and the tail shield, these three shields are connected, then we will lower down the 6 cutter head one by one and install them on the bull head and move RTBM forward. So once the 3 shield are installed and tightened by bolt, we will bring down the cutter head. We can see these are the cutter head. We bring down all the 6 cutter head, and then we will connect with the main drive, and then we move the RTBM in front. Lower down back support. Just now we see back supports are supported by air system, foam system, and we have a transformer. So all will be in the backup system. Lower down back support and place it that back system. Now we discuss about lower down back support and place it on the cradle. So this is a back support. The TBM is here, RTBM is here, and this is a back support, and place it on the cradle. Move and connect back support to the thrust concrete. So we will, after we bring down, we will bring it closer to the thrust concrete. This is the back support. So then after that, lower down thrust system, lower and place it on the cradle. So we will lower down the thrust system lower part, and then we will put the upper part, move the thrust system and connect back to the back support. So first we will place the back support, and back support is placed, then we will put the thrust system. Then lower down thrust ring and place it on the cradle beside thrust ring. So we can see this is a thrust ring, this is a movable part, thrust ring. So here thrust system is here, the thrust ring will be placed here. This thrust ring will push the TBM in front, and intermediately we will install the segment. Later we will see the segments. Lower down segment beside the thrust ring and place it on the cradle. So this is a segment. Usually the segment will be in a rectangular shape. It is casted in a single cast, which is of grade 50 or depend on the soil condition. And this will be decided by the overburden and other calculation, soil condition. So just now we see this is we have installed main body, then we have installed thrust ring and thrust system, cylinder, everything. From this actual side picture, we can see this is a front shield, this is a middle shield, this is a tail shield, this is a screw conveyor, thrust ring, thrust cylinder, and backup support. And then we will install auxiliary equipment. All the auxiliary equipment, connect all pipeline, hoses and cable, RTBM site testing and ready for launching. So once well, we just recap everything. Previously we discussed about all the RTBM component. Then after that, RTBM assembly from step 1 to step 4 and step 1 to step 14, lowering down of different component and assembling and connecting. After connecting all the RTBM component, it will look like this. Then RTBM launching step 1. So once in this picture, once RTBM is ready, then the thrust system is ready. The segment will be placed in between RTBM, main body, and thrust system. So that is what we are doing here. This is a segment. So segment 1 will be placed, then this cylinder will expand and it will push the segment near to the main body. Then after that we place the next extract. So from this we can see extract ram and thrust ring and lower down the ring number 2. P ring is next ring, and push P2 and P1 with the maximum ram extension. Lower down ring P3 and push P3, P2 and P1 with maximum ram extension. So once P1 is pushed in front, we will put P2 and then we will put P3. One by one we will put and then we will push in front. In this picture you can see we will put the segment P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, and then it keep pushing, and the RTBM it start go and touch the retaining wall structure and pressure the cutter chamber. So once it touch the cutter chamber, the gap between the TBM shield, the front shield, and the retaining wall structure, we need to pressurize. Lower down ring P6 and push RTM excavate the lubrication injection. Secure ring P2 to anti-backward frame with fixing pin. Lower down P7 and push P6, then release pin and RTBM continue excavation. So after we place P1, this is an extended cylinder and this is a thrust ring. So once P1 push, then we will have a P2, P3, P4, P5, P6. It all placed one behind the other. The P1 lead in front and it touched the TBM, and TBM now already touched the retaining wall structure. So this is a cross-sectional view. So this is a back support, thrust system and thrust cylinder. This is a thrust ring. So this is an extendable thrust ring, thrust cylinder, and these are the segments, and it is connected to the TBM, and TBM is now following the subway path. So we can see we keep on placing the segment behind. Later in the next slide we will see about segment. Now we just consider this is there is a segment. There is some concrete structure of 500 mm width is placed over here like that. Then it will be go inside. Then this is how the RTBM in tunnel arrangement for main drive. So previously we don't have enough space to put all other services like air system or foam system and bentonite system into the tunnel because due to the space constraint. When the TBM move forward to a particular space, we have enough space. Then we call it as a main drive. Then we bring in all the backup system inside the tunnel. Then the TBM will be a complete system which can move forward. Install conveyor belt system behind the RTBM. So we need to install the conveyor belt system. Shift other part of system to tunnel. So all other part, air compressor, everything will be shifted inside. Install ventilation and cooling inside the tunnel. As the tunnel inside, as we are drilling below the soil, the heat generator will be there will be a temperature rise. So we need to have a ventilation and cooling system. An RTBM ready for main drive. So RTBM once it move around the 20 ring, then we can bring down all other backup system inside. So this is internal arrangement for RTBM main drive. So this is a cross-section view. All the equipments are placed. So this is a muck skip which will bring the soil from screw conveyor, and after that we can bring it outside. So this is a tunnel eye. So tunnel eye is the one where when the TBM after it go near to the retaining wall structure, this is a retaining wall structure. So tunnel eye is to seal. If there is any pressure rise, we need to maintain the phase pressure. To keep the phase pressure after we drill through a particular feed, this tunnel seal will keep the pressure. This is a double seal system. designed for pressure around 2.5 bar, and it has a two seal, inner seal and outer seal. So in the next slide, we will see what is a inner seal and outer seal. So, so this is a tunnelized seal. So tunnelized seal over here, this is our segment, and after our TBM, after our TBM go inside this. This is a permanent structure. This is not a movable structure. So after, and this is a cradle. Just now we saw, and on top of this cradle only we will be installing all the TBM component like front shield, uh, lower part and upper part, and and the TBM will pass through this, and we can see there is outer seal and also an inner seal. So here we have inflatable tube, so that whatever the pressure or water pressure or soil pressure, later we will be using a bentonite at the periphery of the TBM with some pressure. So this bentonite will not be coming out through this tunnel seal. The tunnel seal will, the bentonite or any pressurized item will not be come through this tunnel seal. So that's why we have an inflatable tube here, and we have inner seal, and we have outer seal, flapper plate, rubber seal, inflatable tube at lower part, and outer seal is a sliding plate and rubber seal. So design and general arrangement, casting item, fabrication of segment. So this is a segment. Actually, just now we saw in the previous two slides before that we will be placing the segment. These are the segment between the RTBM and the thrust system. We will be placing the segment. Then after that, the thrust system will push the segment. Now we are discussing about the segment. So over here we can see this is a segment, and this is a rebar arrangement. So this is designed to a standard of CP65 in our project, and the concrete grade that we have used is concrete grade of grade 50, and reinforcement deform bar of type 2, and this is a rebar, and nominal cover of 40 mm. So this is a standard for our segment. So once this is a segment mold, we can see segment mold. This particular segment will be made in a single cast. Once we made a single cast, so this is a rebar inside. After that, we will cover this rebar with the mold, or this rebar will be shifted to the permanent mold. Then we will pour the concrete after, because in our project what we have done is we need to speed up the project because we want to show the productivity. So we have ordered the concrete which can achieve the strength of 30 MPa in 24 hours. So the supplier also can able to supply and we pay for it. So in 24 hours, the concrete need to achieve a 30 MPa strength. So after 30 MPa, because then only it can able to hold its own weight. You can see we have already lifted this segment, and this steel ring, you can see there is a steel ring. Later we will discuss about the steel ring. Then once segment is fabricated, we will stack it before the launching. All the segment fabrication we need to do when we mobilize immediately into the site. In the previous discussion, we have discussed that the launch shaft construction usually take around 6 month time. During the 6 month time, we need to move in, and then we need to move in, and we need to start fabrication of the segment, because segment mold is basically from Korea, and it need to arrive through shipping. 1 to 2 months it will take. After arrive, we need to do the dimension check. Then we need to do the trial mix for the concrete. Then the trial mix finish. Then 3 months is over. Then after 3 months, once we start fabricating this segment, after 24 hours, 30 MPa is to shift the segment. It's not used. Yeah, we cannot use the segment before 28 days. So 28 days is another 28 days. So 3 months is finished. Segment mold arrive in 2 months time. Then after that, 1 month for site preparation. Then another 1 month for trial mix. Then after that, at the end of the 6 month, we will be having every day one segment fabrication. Then we need to wait another 28 days to complete the concrete to gain strength. Because our TBM, when it start operation, every day we can consume 2 segment. We can move 2 segment a day, means around 1 meter advancement we can have. So after mold is prepared, concrete is poured, then this spread bar you can see here. This spread bar, what is the spreader bar? Is to carry the segment and also to turn the segment from horizontal position to vertical position. We need to turn the segment, then only we can lower down. Then you can see from this picture, this is a single segment. So here, this is a single segment we are using. Then we will be lower down. In the next, and we can see it, the TBM is advancing forward. And type of segment, or 3 type of segment. We have a standard segment, reinforced with McAlloy bar, and also with reservoir fire system. So standard segment does not have anything. Reinforcement with McAlloy bar. McAlloy bar is actually, what is meant by McAlloy bar is, sometime after we construct subway, there will be a requirement from the client saying that they may need to have an additional access way from the constructed subway. Like we have a 300 mm we have a 300 mm subway is constructed, and at the middle of 150 mm they want to make an opening, or they want to construct an access way. For that we need to hold the segment together. That's why we need to have McAlloy bar to hold the segment together. So this is a dimension, this is outer diameter, and this is a slab thickness, 500 mm. This is a segment check under thrust force of 72,000 kilonewton. We already checked. So this is a segment pictorial drawing, sectional view. And what are the accessories other than the concrete segment? What are the other things we require? We need to have a lifting socket, total of 6 plus 2, 8 socket we require. So all this 8 socket is for lifting and also turning the segment. Lubrication socket, this is to supply the bentonite. This is to supply the bentonite surrounding the segment, so that there is no friction between the moving segment and also the soil. Exchange grout socket, because once the TBM is in the final position, we will inject the grout at the periphery of the segment to clear the void between the segment and the soil. Because if you see the TBM front shield, there is a 25 mm excess recess. This recess is to avoid the free movement of segment. So this recess will be there for the whole length of the tunnel between the segment and also the soil. So we will be using the grout to inject it. So we can see this is a segment, and this are the lifting socket. So after we lift here, after we lift from the both side, we will turn. This is our mold. This yellow color is a mold. So we are lifting the concrete segment after 24 hours. So segment geometry, and just as there is a correction, actually we will take out the segment after 20 MPa, not 30 MPa. Segment geometry and waterproofing system. So just now in this picture, we have seen many segments. Here in this picture, you can see one segment to another segment we are placing next to each other. So what is a waterproofing system? How we ensure that there is no water path, created. So here we can see this red color line is one segment attached with a steel plate. This is a steel plate, this segment, and this steel plate is welded to the rebar, and this rebar is inside the concrete, so that this rebar, not only one rebar, it is for the full circumference. Just now you see this is a steel ring, it is for the full circumference of the segment. This is This is for the waterproofing of this segment, waterproofing of the tunnel. So this steel ring and then segment, I think you can imagine this one. This is a concrete structure. This is a steel ring, and between the concrete structure steel string, there will be a two waterproofing gasket. One is a double wedge gasket like this, and another is a composite gasket. Both these gaskets are from Korea. And also we have a load distribution pad, because this green line is an another segment, this red line is another segment. When these two segments are contact with each other, it should not have a sharp point. That's why we are using a load distribution pad, and also an open cell polyurethane foam backing rod. We will insert this foam backing rod so that in case if there is a water path, this is a soil, this is a soil area. So if there is a water coming through this and go through, and if this waterproofing system fails, and we have a secondary waterproofing system is also failed, then we have a third waterproofing, not a waterproofing system, it is a channeling system. So if we have no choice, then the water will go through this open cell polyurethane backing rod through. If this also fails, then it will go to the PVC channel. We change, actually this here mentioned PVC channel, but we changed to a aluminum channel, so that the aluminum channel will bring the water down to the segment down. So these are the some of the items. So this is a rebar, and this is a steel ring. Once the steel ring welding is completed, the rebar will be placed on top of it. This rebar will be placed on top of it. This is a steel ring, and ring will help for the waterproofing system. Just now we see this is a waterproofing system, because you can see segment one side no steel ring and another side is steel ring. So wherever there is no steel ring, the next segment steel ring will come and contact, and that is where this waterproofing system will be applied. So this side no waterproofing system, only no steel ring side. We will install both gasket, and then here, then we need to water curing. We need to do water curing. Then after that we will store the segment. So this is a completed segment. This will be in the previous slide we saw that this segment will be placed between the main drive and the thrust system. And this is a segment, and you can see all these ports are connected by bentonite port. So these are bentonite port where when the segment moves, the bentonite will be injected and there will not be any friction between the segment and the surrounding soil. So here we can see. So from this picture, you can see they are installing the gasket. And over here, we can see all the segments are placed one behind the another. This is a thrust cylinder. It will be pushed. So here, this is a thrust cylinder. This cylinder will expand. This is a thrust ring. This thrust ring will push this segment, all the segment inside. This will be act as a ram. It operate by a hydraulic system. This will move forward. The whole structure will move forward, and this will push. This is a leading edge, and in front is a TBM. So this is a completed part. Means this is how the segment will be placed. So we have just an example. We have crosser. This is a TBM launching position, and then it have come through the water channel or flyover or river. So this is a completed subway. Means after our RTBM has mined through, and this is a completed. Each one is a segment. You can see there is a gap. So this is one segment. This is one segment, and this is another segment. And you can see there is a channel. So this is to avoid water in case that this is a third waterproofing system. This is a final docking position. So this is a thrust cylinder. Just now we see the full the individual section. Now we see here is a TBM, and here is a thrust system, and these are the segments. So initially this TBM was here, then they lower down one segment, then this thrust system push. Then after push, it create a gap. Then we install the another system, another ring. Then we push. Then we create a gap. Like that, the whole segment has moved forward. So we will see RTBM video. So first one, we will see the animation part of the video. You will understand the whole operation, whatever we discuss now. Maybe there are too many information. I think from this video, if you have understand the previous one, you can easily correlate. So I will play the video now. It is a more informative video. Please watch. I hope all of you has enjoyed the video. We have just now we saw is the animation one. We will see the animation video is shown to get the overall picture of how it works, how the RTBM works. Now we will see the real site video.
Vimal sir, I think the video is not playing properly.
Okay, sir. Can I replay again, sir?
Yeah, it's stuck. It's stuck.
Oh, okay, sir. I replay the video again, sir, from the start.
Yeah,
Okay,
please
sir.
try, sir.
Can you see, sir?
It's working, sir.
No, okay, sir.
Sir, the video again got stuck up.
Oh, okay, sir. Sir, can you you can see the video, sir? Can you able to play? Maybe
I'll try.
I'm not. Okay, sir. Sir?
Yes, the video completed, sir.
Video completed, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. That is the. I think just now we have seen the overall video about how the RTBM function, and with that, that is the end of my presentation. And once again, thanks to all the attendees and who has patiently listened to the presentation, and thanks to all the participants. Thank you, sir.
Sir, hello.
Sir.
Sir, I am Krishna Mohan, Dr. Krishna Mohan, Dean, Mechanical and Civil, Vijay Engineering College, sir. Sir, I am very much proud to Vimal Kumar is my student, and thank Mr. Vimal Kumar for his excellent presentation. Vimal Kumar is working as QA/QC manager, China Railway Tunnel Group of Limited.
Please switch on your camera.
Just a minute. Okay. Vimal Kumar is a QA/QC manager, China Railway Tunnel Group Limited, Singapore. He has given the presentation the rectangular tunnel boring machine, and really it is very much useful for civil engineers as well as mechanical engineers, mainly for civil engineers. Civil engineer students seen in the theoretical only. Now only they learn the practical how the rectangular tunnel boring machine is working like that. So it is very much useful to faculties, the students and the faculties and other industry peoples also. So I thank all the participants from various institutions, still from other states also, like Telangana and Karnataka state participants also attended this webinar. So I thank all the participants, and I would like to thank our management, our chairman, the Jodhimani Ammal, and our secretary, Mr. Dr. S. Parameswaran. And I would like to give special thanks to our CEO, Dr. Chandrasekhan. He is the backbone of this webinar. He has prepared everything, and he also conducted all the alumni to give the webinar to our students and other faculties also. And I would like to thank our principal and HOD, Dr. Gurumurthy. So once again, I thank Mr. Vimal Kumar for his excellent presentation. So I would like to express thank all the participants once again. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And instruction to the participants. Now you will be redirected to another page to drop on your feedback as well as your certificates. And on behalf of the whole team, I will thank Vimal for the great thing. Thank you very much, Vimal.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.